What's good, everyone? This is Dr. Nee Darko. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below so that you're always up to date on the new uploads as well as alerts on this show. The other thing that you can do to help build this community is make sure you leave a comment below. Let us know what you like, what you don't like about the show, and ultimately, let us know who's winning these arguments, because I need to know that I'm beating Renee in these debates. Run the tape. All right, I'm going to keep this short. I'm going to keep this sweet because in general, I know there's not that many people who use Android who are listening to the show, right? I know overseas, there are a lot of people who use Android as an operating system who listen to our show. But I'm going to tell you right now, when I grew up, I had a Commodore 64. Then I had, some version of an IBM compatible PC. I never rocked with Mac. The only time I rocked with Mac was at school. And it was like the Sierra Canyon or whatever. I forgot what it was, but nobody messed with Macs. I don't know if you guys remember back in the 80s and 90s, like Macs were corny back in the day. And then, when the new wave of new Macs came out in the late 1990s and so forth, I fought all that stuff off. But I use a MacBook right now. I love it. The chip is great. But for cell phones, I'm not switching to iOS. I don't like it. I think Android is the best. And I just want to give my thoughts on the new phone that I have, which is this Pixel 9 XL. Which is so beautiful. Don't you agree? If you guys can see it on video, this phone is amazing. And this phone, I think, is finally the phone that is going to make a lot of people be like, Google's not playing. So I know like people who are listening right now and they have an iPhone, I know you may want to just fast forward this point because I know there's absolutely nothing that I can tell you right now to make you switch from your whack iPhone to a Google or a Samsung phone. But for those Samsung folks right now who are listening, they're like, yo, this Samsung S24 is great, but I don't want to pay like S24 prices of like $1,300 and so forth. Listen, this phone right here, Nuno, right here, this phone right here is amazing. Pixel 9 XL, I love it. The build quality is amazing. It looks like an iPhone to me, I ain't gonna front. Like the other Pixels that I've had in the past have been okay. The build quality has been okay. Has never been on par with iPhone, and I've always had iPhone jealousy in terms of how well it's built. I've also had, Samsung jealousy of how well they're built. But for the first time, this phone is well built. This is an amazing build, and it's great. I love it. And I'll be honest with you, the reason why I've had Pixels is because the picture quality on a Pixel. And if you are an iPhone user, you know what I'm talking about. There's times where you see someone with a Samsung or you see someone with a Google Pixel and you're like, yo, I love my phone, but I need them to take the picture, right? If you haven't, check out a Pixel picture. It is amazing. And having little kids, I just wanted a phone. Like, I didn't want to get a camera because I knew it was going to be too much to carry a camera and to carry my phone. So to have a dedicated camera, I was like, this is not going to work for me. So I just needed a camera, or I needed a phone that took really good pictures, and I was willing to sacrifice everything else. Plus, the phones were always cheaper, right? So I could get a Google Pixel phone for like $300, $400, and I knew spending that amount of money, the phone would last me 3 years, and I'd have the best pictures. The video quality is not that great, but I know at that price point, that I have the best pictures. The shutter speed is great. No matter what my kids are doing, it's a great picture. It's going to do that computational photography and all that stuff. It's better than any phone out there. Everybody knows that. If you don't, now you know. But the build quality wasn't up there. The battery life for the Pixel wasn't up there. And like the processor speed, was, after about a year and a half, you can tell like the phone was like, it's taking a long time. Like I need to reset this phone. But I mean, you could say that about an iPhone also. It's just that because you're an iPhone user, you just don't want to admit that. And you spend a lot of money on it, right? My line. And then you had iMessage, and the Apple ecosystem is no joke, right? The Apple ecosystem is amazing. Like they've done think pieces. There's podcasts, there's YouTube channels that are dedicated specifically on the ecosystem of Apple and how it keeps you locked in. And, there's like the way how I describe it is I think Android makers make better phones, but the experience is better on an iPhone. Right. And I didn't really understand this until I had a Tesla. Right. And when I had a Tesla, the Tesla is the car's not the greatest, but the ability to just go to a Tesla charger and plug in and not have to swipe a card, it just automatically starts working. And then you have like all of this like secondary end user like equipment that you can buy, like a charger specifically for Tesla that Tesla didn't make but someone made for Tesla, or like car seats or car covers or seat warmers, or all of these different things that you can buy off of different websites that are products that are made specifically for Tesla that make your experience better, right? Because nobody else was really dedicating the time to EVs like Tesla. That's amazing. And that's when I really started to realize, like, oh man, like the iPhone ecosystem is amazing. Apple's ecosystem is amazing because it has everything, right? But I still wasn't trying to switch over. I used Android, right? So for me, the biggest thing is the battery life. Battery life has to be really big. So I'm going to tell you right now, with this phone right here, battery life is amazing. All day battery life. So I'm talking about when I'm at work, because this is the big thing. Like, can I go to work without taking a charger with me? Because if my call starts at 7 o'clock in the morning and then I'm done at 7 p.m., right? Like, let's really do what's the real life, right? I'm charging until 5:15 in the morning. I take it off the charger. I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm watching a YouTube video. I get to work by 7 o'clock. And then, basically from 5:45 until midnight, I don't have to charge my phone. I'm from 5:45 at 100%. With this phone, I'm getting all the way to like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock with like 20% left. And that's still doing a workout afterwards, right? That's doing a workout within that, excuse me. So the battery life on this phone is amazing, right? And during the day, like, I'm getting mad calls. I'm getting mad different hospitals calling me to transfer patients in. I'm getting calls from all the different hospitalists about X, Y, and Z. I'm calling neurosurgeons. I'm calling orthopedic surgeons. I'm calling, the OR. I'm on YouTube in between stuff, right? I'm on WhatsApp, right? I'm doing video chat with the kids, all this stuff. And I'm finishing the day with like 20%, 15%. Which is definitely not what I was getting with my Pixel 7. Like, by the time 6:45 comes, 7 o'clock comes, I'm like at 15%. And then in order to work out, I got to charge my phone to get like that extra like 15% so that, when I'm working out, the phone doesn't die on me. So this is great. I love it. Video, the video is great, right? So look, if you look at the tiers, right, the best video is iPhone on a phone. Video. Second would be the Samsungs. And then third, I think, would be Pixel. But like the difference is not night and day. But for a fact, like, people are filming movies or portions of movies with their iPhones. So that's how good the quality of the video on an iPhone is. Would you do that on this phone? Hell no. You're not going to do that. But for me, for the average person who just wants to film their kids and make sure that it's not blurry, or to make sure that I have the memories of, like, my kids, meeting me at the door when I come home from locums, or, taking them to the park, or like, beating them in basketball, or chasing them down the block and using that video, and it works so quickly, it's like better. It's amazing. Like the ecosystem, I think, for Google is great. The ability for me to upload all my stuff and have it available for me, my pictures and videos, to the Google Cloud is amazing. The AI, I'll be honest with y'all, whether it's AI on Apple or AI on Google or AI, whatever it is, it's, to me, AI at this point is like 3D. Right? Remember 3D glasses and 3D TVs? It's just it's a novelty. I think there's a lot more work that needs to be done in order for us all as people to really decide that we're going to use, or to really feel that oomph, that tipping point that, you should really be using AI in what you do on an everyday basis. Now, you may hear about AI, and you may hear about how AI is going to change the world in the future, and AI is doing things to affect your job and so forth. But like, I'd be very hard pressed, and you guys can write in and let me know. I'd be very hard pressed to find out tell me if you're using AI on a daily basis, right? Like, the X-ray machines now are using AI to tell us like how far the endotracheal tube is from the carina. Like, that's great and all, but even that I don't even trust. I'm like, let me look and check and make sure, because I don't know, right? Some of these computers be making, or these AI things be making some big mistakes and stuff, right? Like, you can't trust all of that stuff. And as a result, like I look at it like the 3D TVs, like there was like this huge rush for everybody to get a 3D TV, and ESPN made like a separate 3D, channel for this, and it's gone because I think that like there's too much friction, really, right? You have to put glasses on and you have to sit there and not get dizzy, and then you had to make sure that movie was actually in 3D. And I think the same thing with these AI things that they're talking about on this is like the stuff that they want you to do AI on, which is to change the picture and to have AI do it. Like, who wants to do that consistently? Like, you're not going to use that. A lot of this stuff is gimmicky type stuff. So I'll be very honest with you. Like, the AI that they have here is very gimmicky. And I think those who are waiting for AI to show up on your iPhone, you're going to be disappointed also, because I just don't think AI is there on a mass appeal standpoint for you guys to really be swayed by it. That's my thoughts on it. And then I got real quick here a Pixel Watch 3. This is an amazing watch. The battery life is great. I can get a day and a half if I don't work out. The screen is great. The tracking is great. There's a great YouTube channel that is able to compare and contrast like really expensive smartwatches. We're talking about smartwatches that are like $600, $700, like the Garmin's and stuff, and their ability to track heart rates compared to like Apple Watches and a Pixel Watch and, Fitbits and things like that. And this and the Apple Watch are really high up there. So I'm part of the Google ecosystem, and that's part of the reason why I'm bringing this up, is that as much as I'm talking about the Apple ecosystem keeping you walled in, like I'm getting walled in myself with the Google ecosystem, and this watch is really great. I can get through the entire day of working, and I got the LTE version, which means that like, my phone doesn't have to be nearby. I can still get phone calls off of this. And the reason I like that is there are times when I'm in the operating room and my phone is on, the table and I can't hear it, but at least my watch will start buzzing and I can tell someone, hey, go answer my phone. Or, even through my scrubs and through my sterile stuff, I can tap it and I can have a phone call if someone wants to transfer a patient or if someone wants to get a consultation. It's very useful. Is it perfect? No. But I like it a lot. It's really great. So I would definitely recommend it if anybody's out there and they're thinking about, what kind of watch would they get for an Android. Definitely would recommend it. And that's pretty much it, y'all. That's it. That's the updates here with Docs Outside the Box with the Darkos. So yeah, we're purchasing a home and you're learning a bit about my fitness journey. And yeah, you know how I feel about Pixel watches compared to Apples and Samsungs. But yeah, let us know what you think about these episodes or an episode like this. Anywhere that you want to let us know, we'll see it. YouTube, wherever, we'll find it. Listen, guys, I'm going to catch y'all on the next episode of Docs Outside the Box. Hopefully by then, Dr. Renee will be back. Catch you guys on the next one, y'all. Peace.